Yo, BeBall Jones podcast back again one more time with my guy Nelson Haskin, man. What's going on?
What's going on, bro? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. What about you?
I'm straight, bro. Ready to get back to work, man. School start back Monday. I'm ready to get back to it.
Man, I do not miss. I'm not gonna lie. I do kind of miss those days of school, but I don't miss those days of school at all. So, but
We miss college, but we don't miss school.
that is very true. Very true.
That's
I
how it
miss.
is.
I miss like my routine of like the way I used to operate in college. I used to wake up in the morning, go work out, spend some time in the library. I ain't studied too much. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wasn't the best student. I did enough to get by, get my grades I wanted. But I was mainly working on like business stuff and like learning basketball drills and how to train. I was a
I
nerd,
feel
bro.
it.
Like I was a nerd for that. So that's really all I did for real, for real. But that's not the point. I ain't trying to have. I don't know how long my what's it called? My duration, like time between the act and me saying it. I can't think of the word, but um, I should be good now. I ain't got nothing. I ain't doing nothing crazy, but it'll be all right. So anyway, I'm good though. But so it's gonna be a different episode for us. We're getting back to less current event topics and more of, this one gonna be a little bit more personal for us. With this episode, we're gonna be talking about our favorite players, kind of piggyback off of what Nelson was doing last week with his individual, you know, giving game about how Giannis is his favorite player and what he really meant to him. And when I was listening back to it, kind of made me think that overall, most of the people that we grow up, I won't say idolizing, but growing up respecting and following and looking up to, it's never really just about their talent and skill of what they actually do. So if you're a fan of a certain musical artist or rapper, like we're fans of J. Cole, we aren't fans of J. Cole just because he's good at rapping. It's because the personal aspect of him and what we know from him as a man. We don't know him personally, but what we know of him as a man outside of music and the feeling that he gives us is more personal than just his talent, what he does. When we're fans of celebrities and actors and stuff, we get to know them personally, and it's deeper than just them being able to act. So same thing for us in sports and basketball, man. It's like you being a fan of Giannis isn't strictly because he's good at basketball or because the game is similar. It's because of, the adversity he had to overcome and how physically he adapted from being a stick figure his rookie year and early years in the league to the Greek freak he is now. You know what I mean? That's people don't understand how that all ties way deeper than strictly basketball. So that made me think about it, and it's kind of leading to what we're going to talk about today. Is like who are our players, current and past that we grew up with that led us to where we are today, man. So I kind of let you kind of, you ain't got to go too deep into it, but just piggyback off of what you said last time with Giannis, man. So anything else you want to add to what you said from last week with Giannis, man?
No, I think I pretty much said everything I need to say in the video. It's just a very personal connection, like you said, like people don't often pick their favorite players just off talent alone. It's another underlying aspect a lot of times of why this person would be my favorite. Like like how I said, like Giannis just reminds me so much of myself, or reminds me of some of the things that I dealt with playing, and in the style that I play. Just I remember being a scrawny kid, and people telling me I wasn't big, and I was too skinny to play college basketball and things like that. And I remember playing, and people was telling me, he can't shoot, you can't dribble, don't have no skill. All you do is dunk. Same things that we say about Giannis now. Or a lot, not we, but y'all. Same things that y'all say about Giannis. So I remember being talked about similar to how Giannis is talked about. And I wasn't putting up 28 and 15 every night. I wasn't doing that. I was out here putting up 12 and 10 and 15 and 11 type stuff. But people were still saying that, like, man, all you do is dunk. You don't got no jump shot. You can't dribble, stuff like that. But all at the same time, still producing and putting my teams in the best position to win, you know? So I see that in Giannis. I see myself in that. Like, man, this scrawny kid came into the league and grew up and got bigger, got stronger, worked at it, and improved everything, every bit of his game until he became an NBA champion. And you know, we take getting better for granted. Like this don't just happen, you know. And I remember people being like, "You only good because you tall," you know. Like, man, you only good because you tall. You only good. You only on the team because you 6'7". People will really say that to me. Like, you only on the team because you 6'6". You only on the team because you 6'5" in the ninth grade. Like, of course you gonna be on the basketball team. But they don't realize, like, I've always been tall. Like, most of my life I've been tall. I haven't always been good. So being good and being tall didn't always come hand in hand.
Oh yeah.
So it's just one of them things, man. I feel a personal connection in that way. Like it's not many stars in the league where you could look at them and be like, man, like he really wasn't supposed to be here. Like you could look at other stars like Russell Westbrook, LeBron, KD. It's like, okay, they just was born with these gifts. Like Bron born with this size and athleticism. And he got this IQ. KD born with this height and this length, but he also got this shooting ability, like unknown for somebody his size. Russ got this strength and speed for a guard, and this high motor. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that they don't work hard, but you know, it's just something. A lot of that stuff they were born with. And Giannis was born with height and length and some athleticism, but everything else in this game was really like worked for. Like if like just being in his rookie year, like if you look for at his rookie year to his second year to his third year to his fourth year, all the way to where he is now in year 6, I want to say, he's improved every year, like literally improved every stat almost every year. And so that just goes to show you, man, like it wasn't by accident. And I try to improve every year. I try to improve what I'm doing every year. Like this man, he wasn't just born into it a star. Like he wasn't rookie of the year. He wasn't, I mean, he was a high draft pick, but he wasn't like number 1, number 2, number 3. He wasn't expected to become a superstar. It's just things like that, man. I definitely relate to that. So it's never just a oh, I like the way he plays type thing. It's always something more than that when it comes to talking about our favorite players.
Yeah. The thing about Giannis too, man, it's like I remember like during this playoff run, I kept seeing old clips of him, and it's like sometimes I forget who Giannis used to be. And like he was really like, I remember looking at the draft and everything, and he was talking about how he was really like he really wants to be drafted where he was drafted. Like they kind of took a gamble on him. It's like they feel like he can turn out to be something. He really supposed to be like a later first round pick or second round pick, or maybe even undrafted at that point, you know. And they was really gambling on him and saying we see potential. So he might not be anything that we expect him to be for the first 2-3 years, maybe, but down the line, he expected to be something special. And I remember seeing the one of the few things he was really known for in a bad way was like he had a real bad hot head. He used to get a temper. And I remember I counted him out after I saw this twice. I remember one playoff series, I forgot who it was. I think they were playing the Bulls, I think. And then the Bucks were getting blown out, like they were getting beat bad. And then he got a hot head. Somebody was shooting in the corner, and he ran up to him and just pushed him. I was like, that's not even basketball, bro. Like, what are you doing? I was kind of mad about that. And I was like, nah, bro. Like, you lost respect after that, because that's something like all hoopers know, bro. Like certain stuff like that. Like, I understand, like you getting a little heat, and like you mad about something, you kind of do something little cheap shots and stuff. Like certain small stuff you can do. I understand. But for you to be completely like uncalled for, non-basketball play like that, I was like, nah, bro, you can't do that. Like, and he did it again. I think either the next year or the next series, I can't remember. It's something very similar to it. And I was like, nah, bro, like I can't believe in you and nothing. Like, if that's how you're gonna go out, I can't rock with you, man. So then to see from that to where he is now, that's beyond a 180, man. Like the way he developed and grew, like you can low-key give him most improved probably twice over his career. Like he's almost like one of those few people who like got to be this superstar level without the superstar, backing behind him. Because LeBron came in first pick, Kevin Durant was second pick, Westbrook was a lottery pick. Like most of the guys we celebrate now, no disrespect, like you said, of course they work hard, but they didn't have to fight as hard to get where they are at that league level. Like, of course, they had to fight at some point at middle school or high school. Like Westbrook had to fight in college, and he's still underdog when he got to the league. But at the same time, you looked at it a little different when you a lottery pick. Looked at it a little different when you the first pick of that team draft.
Right.
Versus Giannis, who came in and he was like, "Yeah, you got drafted here, but we ain't really looking at you to be producing like that yet." So he had to scrap and call a little bit different, especially hearing a story about how he was in his hometown. So, like Giannis' story overall, man, it's really impressive, man. So at some point they're gonna make a documentary about him, but they haven't already. So
Yeah, I'm sure it's already in the works.
yeah, especially after this year, it's got to be something going on. So that's all respect for him, man. So. Like people, they probably think I'm a hater of Giannis, especially the way our conversations be going, man. But I got a lot of love and respect for him. But it's admirable to see everything he's done in his career, man. So him being your best player is not a surprise. Like Giannis being your best player is a very good bet to have. Because even off the court, he's a great dude. So that's it. Wrapping up for Giannis, man. So anything else you want to add on that?
I'm good, bro. Well, go ahead with our topic, man.
So yeah, continuing on with this, we're just gonna tap into our favorite players and like why we kind of chose these guys as our best players and what they mean to us. Like we kind of talked about, not just on the court, but off the court as well. So you want to start it up or you want me to go ahead and go since you kind of already did Giannis?
The folks know who my favorite current player is. So you go ahead, man. Get yours out there for the ones who don't know.
All right. So currently right now within the NBA, people probably gonna hate me for this, but I kind of have two favorite players. I can't pick, man. Like if I had to pick, I would pick one, but it always go back and forth. But currently, man, playing right now in the NBA, my favorite players are Damian Lillard, Dame Time, and Russell Westbrook. Those two are my guys, man. Speaking more just basketball wise right now, I love how calm Dame is, man. Like he never gets too high or too low, man. That's how I am, like on the court and off the court, and I can relate to that a lot. Like he's just like he's one pace, he's one speed mentally and emotionally. He's always even keeled, no matter what. And like even when he hit the game winner, like he's still just like still killer mode. Like he just cold with it, man. Like he ain't like just all rah over the place like somebody else is, but he's like, yeah, I did what I had to do, bro, and I did it. Let's move on. Like, ain't got nothing else to say. We did all our trash talking during the series. Hit the shot and let's go home. Like, it's a wrap. And I love that about him. And then basketball-wise, he's kind of undersized for his position. And then me being my size as a point guard, I always kind of look at the smaller guards to mimic my game after. And, I'm not the most skilled player. I've never been super skilled. I've always been very athletic. And Dame's game is very simple and to the point. Like he's not about over dribbling. He's not over complicated like Kyrie and stuff. No, not to knock them, but this is not my game. I've never been that type of skilled player. And Dame is very simple to the point. I was very athletic, so it's just like, well, I gotta sit here and do 2-3 moves for you. For if I hit one move and I just go, I'm already past you. That's the goal: is get past you and get to the goal. So I make my one move and go. I've done my job. So I don't need to have a counter move or another move after that. So I just respect that a lot from Dame. Like he makes his move and he's gone. Once he sees that angle, he just shoots it and go. And that's kind of how I am. So and like his leadership, man, like that's one thing you can't like ever disrespect about him. Like he might not be the best player, he might not be the most talented player, he might not be, winning everything, but you can't disrespect, you can't knock how he's been leading and how he rides with. Like his loyalty is like, I don't know anybody as loyal as him, man. Like even in the down times of Portland and how we all know what Dame really wants to say sometimes. Like y'all ain't giving me no help or nothing around here. And it's like, I need better players. He never doubts his guys. Like he never wavers or nothing. He's like, this is the guys we got, I'm rocking with him. Only person that comes close to him right now is Westbrook. Even though Westbrook has moved teams though. But like his loyalty to his team has been unmatched, man. I always respect that about him. And it's like that is very commendable to me. And I hope that I can give that to the people I'm around. Just be like, man, B is a very solid guy. Like he never wavered on me, man. Like I always feel like he has my back. So this is something I always want to take from Dame. And on the other side is Westbrook, man. He's kind of like the direct opposite of him. If you think about their personalities, with I kind of
It's
vibe
funny.
with. Go
It's
ahead.
funny because you pick two guys that's like seemingly rivals. Like they seem to like butt heads on the court.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too when they played that year when Dame hit the shot over Paul George. I was like, damn, my two favorite players going head to head. Like it's weird, but and they both were at 0-2. I keep thinking about that, but it's weird. But at the same time, like what I was saying, Westbrook, he's very athletic too. Like I said before, I'm an athletic guy, so it's like seeing how his game is, like how can I score and steal from him to add to my game. So when he was killing with that mid range pull up in transition, I even believe I was trying that. Like I was trying to figure out how to master that at all costs. Because you get downhill, oh, it's not how you stop him. You don't. I'm finna pull up in your face. It don't matter. You just come down, boom, and pull up. I was trying to master that for the longest, bro. Like even pulling up for three like that, like I love that about him. And then like the energy that he gives, that's how I feel on the inside sometimes. But I'm like, dang, man, I don't show it. Like I feel just as rah as which I feel that energy in me, and I just like I connected that so well, but I never show it. Like I would rarely show emotion like that, even in like personal life. I rarely just get out and just like explode like that. So I feel that in me. That's why like I connected that too. Like if Westbrook's probably the enemy, if I showed emotion, Westbrook would be what you would see from me, which is kind of weird. But Westbrook, my dude, man. Same thing I was saying about Dame. Like he's straight to the point. Like he just makes a move and he goes. Like he's just north and south. I don't have to do all that dancing and everything. I just get my angles and I go. And I was saying about Dame, his Westbrook and his loyalty. Like what I was saying about Dame, Westbrook's loyalty and leadership has never been questioned by any of his teammates. Like he may be talked about as being a bad teammate, but every single guy that he's had as a teammate and a former teammate come out and says how much they love him and how great of a leader he is and how much they rock with him. It's like nobody ever like they never see anybody like Westbrook can do what he does. And it's like every single teammate he's had has said that about him. Like the way he pushes them and how he motivates them to go better and do bigger, and especially through his actions, is like the way he brings it every single night. Like I love Giannis, I love LeBron, but nobody has Westbrook's mode. Like his motive is top percent of like anything.
The league.
Like even Kobe and Jordan, I don't think Kobe. I didn't see Jordan that much to really can say this. I don't think either of them had a motor like Westbrook had. Like Westbrook does not take off any night at all. You see him game one of his rookie year. That's been him every single year, every single game, regular season, postseason, probably preseason too. Like that's Westbrook, and you're gonna get that every single minute he's playing. So I really respect that about him, and I hope that I can bring that type of energy to my business, my training, and I don't hoop no more like that, but everything I do in my life. So that's just kind of where I steer from those two, man. So currently, those two are my guys who I rock with, man. It's just like, and off the court, those are big givers, man. Like they give so much of like their lives, their money, like they give back to the community and everything that they're from. And they do a lot of stuff off the court, especially Westbrook. He does so much stuff off the court that is bigger than like basketball. Like Dame does his music and everything. He's acting out. Like if you've seen Space Jam 2, I still haven't seen it, but so watching Space Jam 2, he does his thing off the court. And it's like of course I expect to do much more than just basketball training too. So I connected that too. But overall, man, those two are my current favorite players that are playing right now, man. So those are my guys, man. Both zeros, Dame Time and Westbrook. I rock with those two. Those are my guys right now, man. So that's it.
I feel that I definitely can see both of them for you. Like I can see why you would appreciate both of those guys. Like, and I'm a fan of Dane too. To be honest, I ain't gonna lie. I never really liked Westbrook like that. Never really been a fan of Russ. No, I could just me and Russ. I feel like it's funny because like our favorite players really can say something. Like our favorite NBA players really kind of say something about our personalities as people. And I feel like my personality and Russ' personality are like total opposites. I feel like we would not mesh. Like, and in that same token, I just don't like Russ like that. I've never been a fan of Russ. That's not to say not good, because obviously he's a great player, but I just never considered Russ. Like, I've never been a fan of Russ at all. But Dame, I love Dame. I think Dame, like, the coolest, look, like you said, most calmest, composed player we'll ever see. Like, Dame, and I love hearing Dame talk about the game. Like, I don't know how much you've heard Dame talk on like other podcasts or interviews and stuff like that, but I like to just hear Dame talk about the game, like his insight, just getting his insight and his opinions on certain things. It's like just the way he talked. Like, he's very about all his cousins live in Portland with him. Like, I just say Dame one of the coolest guys. Like, if there was a coolest player in the league award, something like that, like, I feel like it'd be Dame every year. He's just cool to me, man. Like, I don't know. One of them guys I feel like I wish I could hang out with in the league. I wish I could kick it with him.
Yeah, he's smooth, man. That's my dude.
Swear. I don't think I have no second favorite player currently. Like, I don't know. I like Dame. I used to be a big fan of Kevin Durant, just his height and his shooting ability. I used to admire that. But then, he started playing for these super teams and stuff. So I kind of lost a little of my respect. But yeah, other than that, is Giannis all the way for me.
Yeah, I don't say I dislike KD, but I'm kind of the same way. Like, he was OKC. I was a huge fan and huge following of KD. Like, I'm nothing close. Like, his game is nothing close to mine, bro. I'm 5'10". That man is 7 foot. Like, he got over a whole foot on me. So it's like my game is nothing alike. But I was respecting him and like his passion for the game. Like, he was kind of laid back. He had a little fireness to him too. And he like when he got going, like, he was a whole nother beast, man. Like, it was fun watching him hoop, bro. Like, he was just like he could play basketball when he needed to, but at heart he was just a hooper, man. He was like he had a run of like maybe 4 years in a row, but he was just like he was a whole nother person. Probably that scoring title run he had. He was just like he was tapped into a whole nother person. Like, he was touching stuff we never, at least our generation, never seen of like dominance. Like, ain't nobody mess with this man. Like, it's just different feel that he gave us during that run, man. Like, that's why I really fell in love with him in this game. He came out with a documentary and stuff around that time, and his shoes were popping for real. He had a run where he was like really like I don't say the poster child, but he was like in the running of like being like that guy for the league. Going for LeBron James, he probably would have been, but Kobe too. I forgot Kobe was running, but he was that dog for a minute, man. So then he decided to just jump ship and go to Golden State, man. Like, I understand, but it's just it's different, man. So after
For
that,
a competitor like us, it's just one of the things. Like, I can't really respect it.
yeah, I get it. You want to win, like I get it. I understand all of it. But at the end of the day, man, it's just like I'd much rather. It feels a lot better to beat your friends. Maybe it's just me, but it feels a lot better to beat my friends than to play with. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'd much rather compete against my friends, hoop against them. Cause I don't know, it's just bragging rights a little bit too, but it feels a lot better to go against my homeboys and be like, man, I beat you, bro. Like, top dog over here. Than to just play. It is fun to play with your friends. I don't want people to think that, but it feels a little bit better. It feels a little bit different to go against them and be like, yeah, dog, I got you. I got the upper hand on that one. So it just, I don't know, man.
Can't get with it, man. Can't get with it. All right, man. So we kind of talked about who our favorite current players are. So, uh, who are some of your favorite players from that from the past, or like when we were coming up? Because like current guys, like this is just what's going on now. But like these ain't really the guys we came up on, or like got us. So who are some of the guys that kind of got you started in basketball, or like was like one of the first people that got you interested in basketball?
So when people ask me this, man, like some people that know me probably might be a little confused by this answer because it's a timeline thing. So the way I feel about Kobe being Bryant is how people feel about Michael Jordan. Kobe's my GOAT. I don't care what anybody got to say. Kobe's my GOAT. I respect LeBron. I respect Jordan. but Kobe has my heart. Like I grew up off of Kobe, and everything that this man has lived for, and all the way to his dying day, is stuff that I have applied in my life, and I still apply to my life now. And so, like Kobe really got me into the game for real, for real. Like, I remember growing up, like when I was born, Jordan was the guy, but I'm a baby, man. I don't really know too much about Jordan. Like, I got joke with older people that try to talk to me about this. It's like I respect Jordan all day. I've seen the highlights. I've seen all this. I know about Jordan. Man. Thank you. But when I was born, Jordan was a baseball player. So my view of Jordan is gonna be completely different from y'all view of Jordan. Y'all saw prime Jordan. Y'all saw Jordan when he was a rookie going against the Celtics, and I think it was 88 or 89 when he went off, had 61 against them. And y'all seen all that. I was not even born. I was like -7 years old at that point. So I have no recollection of what Jordan was. Now I can sit up and go to YouTube and do highlight stuff all day, but it's not the same as watching it live and like getting that whole experience and feeling. And so like Kobe really put me into the game for real, for real. Like growing up when I was starting to get into like understanding what basketball was and starting to find things I like. Kobe was winning three. He had 3-peat going on. So I was like, oh snap, basketball seems pretty fun. And this guy seems pretty good at it. So I'm gonna start following him. And that really got me into the game. And I was a huge Lakers fan at that point. I was really more of a Kobe fan. Like you kind of talked about in the past episode, how our generation isn't as much fans of teams. We're more fans of players at this point. Even I do have a favorite team, but at that point, I was just big on Kobe, and he got me into the game, man. Like his swagger, like the way he carried himself, and like he was so confident and basically arrogant at the same time. But he was arrogant because he put in so much work that he knew that regardless of what you threw at me, I was still gonna come out here and compete and ball out regardless. So like that kind of arrogance, I don't mind. Like if I work my butt off, man, and I'm killing everything, you can't tell me nothing at that point. Like what is there not to be arrogant about? I'm working my butt off and I'm killing. I'm talking trash and I'm backing it up. What I say, what more do you want from me? I just won 3 in a row. So like what can you say to me? Feel me? So like I grew up off of Kobe, man. Like that's my dog growing up, man. So his work ethic, his mindset, his love for the game, his passion for the game, and the way he strives to be perfect in everything he touches, man. Not just like during his playing days, he was really driven off of basketball, and as you saw, as he was retiring, he started expanding his horizons and his focus to more things, and he brought that same intensity and focus to everything else he was doing too, like even his shoes and the Mamba brand as far as the attention to details that he brought with that, and his coaching when he did with his daughters and the Mambacitas and everything with that, man. It's like I really live to like match that in what I do with my business and everything. So Kobe means a lot to me, man. So uh, that's really who brought me into the game, man. So he'll always have a spot in my life and my career and my business and everything I do now. So Kobe, man, that's my dog, man. Like, he brought me into the game, man, and that's what I'm rolling with, man. That's probably my all-time favorite player. So Kobe Bean Bryant, man, that's my guy. What about you, man?
Um, I feel you on that, man. I know a lot of guys, realize Kobe, and Kobe was our Mike. A lot of people would say just came up and he came up in our time, like the '90s babies, the guys like us born in the '90s who missed the Jordan runs.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kobe came up right on time for that, so that torch was just passed right on time. So, but people ain't gonna like it. But I just have never been a fan of Kobe, and I can tell you why. Number one, no, first and foremost, I have the utmost respect for Kobe. Kobe's game, everything. You can't knock that. You can't just what he. But as I grew as a basketball player, I realized, he said it though. Like he said it multiple times. Like I trust my work ethic more than some of these other guys, or I don't respect their work ethic. So why would I give them the ball? Stuff like that. So as I got older and grew in my basketball knowledge, I kind of respected it more. But as I was growing at that time, I ain't understand. So I was just like, nah, this man selfish, a ball hard, don't want to pass, not a team player, stuff like that. But other than that, reason number two, I ain't never liked Kobe is because I was a big Boston Celtics fan growing up. And like just going down the timeline, like you said, I was born in '99. So I was born, tail end of the Jordan years. And then, Kobe and Shaq got their three-peat 2000, 2001, 2002. And, I'm 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
So I'm not around. I wasn't watching basketball, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But then come 2007, man by the name of Kevin Garnett traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves for half the Boston Celtics. And I remember being like, dang, they traded like 8 players for one dude. Like, I remember looking at that trade on ESPN, like Celtics received Kevin Garnett, Timberwolves received 7 names. And I was just like, they traded this many people for one person. Is that even allowed? Can you even do that? But they sure enough did it and created what became the Boston Celtics Big Three and Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. So they was the first like great team that I was paying close attention to. And KG became my favorite player of that time. KG is my gateway into basketball. He brought me into basketball. I remember watching KG and just like it go back to that energy that he brought to the game. Anybody that watched KG play in his prime years know the energy is crazy when you talking about Kevin Garnett. Like, he gonna talk his trash to you. He don't care who you are. He don't care how big you are. He ready to fight anything. You could tell he come from the trenches. Like, this man meant business every time he set foot on that floor. And he brought energy for his team every time he played. And I've always respected and admired that. Great defense, great mid-range shooting, footwork, post work. He could give you what you want for a big. In that time frame, in the time that he was playing in, he could give you what you want from a big. He could shoot it. He could post. He could give you the fade. He'll dunk on you. He'll run the floor. And he gonna defend. Multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards. And so KG was just, man, it's something about that energy. I feel like KG is a big part of why I play the way I play with my energy and my defense. Like, coming into the game. I feel like who you come into the game watching has a lot to do with how you decide to play or how your game develops. Like the first basketball player you fall in love with will have a lot to do with your development. So y'all listening to this, if y'all got kids or if you plan on having kids and want them to be great basketball players, you better put the right players in front of them. Because if you want them to grow up and be a great point guard, I suggest you throw on some Chris Paul highlights while they growing up. Or if you want them to grow up and be dunking on people and be super athletes, I suggest you put on some Vince Carter highlights, some Tracy McGrady highlights, whatever you got to do. But who you watch coming into the game, I just firmly believe that they'll have a lot to do with your development as a basketball player. Mm-hmm. And so KG was a big part of mine. And now because I feel like because of him, I bring that energy. I'm not saying I'm out here talking trash and talking crazy to the other team all the time, but I'm just the type of person now when I play, like people that know me regularly, they know I'm a nice person. I talk to a brick wall, I'm just a friendly person in general when it comes to just my everyday life. But the people who play against me know, like, at the end of the day, you got to feel me. Like, I'm that type of person when we play. I'm the type, and especially if you talk crazy to me, like if you say something to me, all the friendliness out the window. Like, so that's just me, man. KG just always been that guy for me. He just didn't. It's crazy. He ain't never met me, but little do he know he didn't put that that little chip on my shoulder in me.
Yeah.
And it's something that I wish I could be more like him, really, because I can't tap into it all the time. I wish it was just something I could just tap into. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could just get mad or get, motivated to just lock somebody up or do, just get in that mode. Not to say I don't play hard all the time, because I still play hard and bring energy, but the way I guard, like the guy I'm telling you about now, like the way I do things like that, if it was just something I could just get into, I would. Like, but it's not. It's just somebody got to provoke me into it. Like, but when it happened, it's like, okay, I'm now sitting down. Like, you got to show me. That's my catchphrase. You got to show me. I don't care who you is or what you did. You gonna have to show me. And so that's just me, man. KG put that in me, man. He done put that small amount of dog in me. Like, okay, this is what we gonna have to do. We're gonna have to take it there now. It done got some trouble, not like KG trouble, but it's just one of them things. We're gonna have to take it there.
Yeah. I can see that in your game too, man. Like the biggest thing I see, not just energy, but like your vocal presence, especially on defense, bro. Like you are the anchor of the defense. Like when I used to come to your games, man, it was like you on the floor versus you off the floor, two different teams. Like when you on the floor, defense is on lock. Everybody know what it's supposed to be. Ain't nobody really missing assignments. If you miss an assignment, it's your fault. It's not because I ain't tell you. I told you where to go. I told you what's happening. Told the screen right. For whatever reason, you decided not to go over and under. You didn't want to talk, so you got hit by the screen. That's your fault. You heard it. You had to. The whole gym heard me. You just didn't move. Like I'm always sitting at the top. You know, I'm ducked off in the back. I'm always sitting at the top. So if I can hear you from the opposite end of the court at the top section of the bleachers, ain't no way you shouldn't have heard me, bro. I'm 10 feet away from you. So that's one thing I always got that you got from KG too, man. You'll be a vocal presence and an anchor on the defense. So I can definitely see that, man. Like, especially like the way you play and everything, I can see that in your game, especially when you were at Bevel. Like you weren't like you developed from Bevel to now, you developed a lot. So I saw a lot more KG in your game than I did Giannis. Because now you a little bit different. Now, I ain't seen too much of you now, but like I see a lot of KG in you back in the day because you weren't the best shooter, but mid-range you had something to go to. Like defense was, ain't gonna talk about defense. Defense is that's the thing, So that's a lot. But like offensively, you like KG's probably stepped on as being a solid passer. He could pass the ball. Same thing for you. You're a good passer. So I can see a lot of KG in your game. Like from what KG was able to do, especially them Celtics years. Like young KG, that's a whole other player. But Celtics KG, from what you grew up watching to what I seen from you do, I can definitely see the similarities in your game. So it's not any surprise for that to be your guy. Because that's crazy because that's the time that I became a Celtics fan. I really wasn't a fan of a team until those Celtics came along. So the time you came into basketball and developed your favorite player, that's the time I became a team fan. Because before that, I was just a Kobe fan. We'll talk about my next player later, but I see a lot of KG in your game, man. So not a surprise at all for you to say that.
I appreciate that, man. I mean, I take that as a compliment that you can see him in my game because I've idolized that. Like I've tried to become what he was for his teams. Like you said, that defensive anchor, that talking, that putting people where they need to be, making sure you know where you need to be at all times, like controlling the defense. And like it's just one of them things, man. Like you got to feel my presence on the court, like, and I feel like KG presence has always been felt. Like it's one of them things, man. My coach, my assistant coach, Coach Butler, he wasn't trying to give me a compliment. It's funny because he wasn't trying to compliment me. He was really trying to tell me something about myself. But I took it as a compliment just because of the way he said it. He was telling me something about I wasn't scoring and pickup because like I'm not an offensive player, but I need to develop more offensive skills. So he was telling me I wasn't really scoring enough in pickup. And he was like, this is pickup, this is what you need to work on and stuff like that. I'm like, but coach, like the defense, like you ain't see me blocking shots and like locking my man up. I'm like, the defense is like crazy right now. He said, Nelson, you can roll out the bed and play great defense. Like that's you. Deep, you got defense. Like, can't nobody take that away from you. You can roll out the bed. I can wake you at 2:00 in the morning. You roll out the bed and be a great defender. But your offense is not there every day. Like, you got to develop your offense. That's what we need more out of you. We know you can guard. We know you can play defense.
Mhm.
And like him play great defense. I took that. I rolled with it. I was like, yeah, roll out the bed a great defender. That's me. And like I take that any day of the week. I'd rather be, to be real with you, I take a big block, a big time block over making like a big time offensive play. Mine is dunking on somebody. I feel like dunking on somebody is like the epitome. But like if I had to choose between making a game-winning shot or the game-winning block, give me the block. I feel like a block is hard to come by, especially in a game-winning situation. That's all want to hustle energy type play. So you got anything else on your favorite players that you came up with, or is Kobe like the one for you?
So that might be a surprise for some people that Kobe is my all-time favorite, because by the time Kobe, I won't say Kobe went downhill, but around the same time when he lost that last finals, that year was D-Wade got drafted. And D-Wade's probably known as most people as my favorite player, because that was my main guy from middle school and up, so became a D-Wade fan when he was in college, man, hearing about him in Marquette. I wasn't a huge college, following, but I was listening to it. I was aware of it. And then for whatever reason, I kept hearing D-Wade name every time college came on. I was like, who is, why is his name spelled weird, man? Like, that's not how you spell Dwayne, bro. Like, that's not, oh, man. But he can hoop. All right. So I kept watching him, and he went to a pretty deep one. I think he went Sweet 16 or Elite 8, 1 or 2. I'm like, okay, I kind of like this guy. Let me see what he's talking about. And saw him got drafted, followed him a little bit. And I was like, dang, his game matched my game a little bit more. I started hearing scouting reporting, like, he's very athletic, super fast, can't really shoot that well. Okay, sound like me. All right, let's see what you get. Let's see what you do. Boom, start following his game a lot more. Then if you knew how I used to hoop, and I still kind of hoop like that now, like, his game is really how I played. Like, every little move he did, like the little snatch back between the legs, I took that from him. All the gathers when you windmill going over, or you tuck it through, or you sweep low, I took that from him. I took crazy layups and stuff. I took that from him. Like, my game from middle school and most of high school was pretty much the Dwayne Wade game. Like, I could shoot better some days. Like, some days I was a good shooter. I was really a shooter, but some days I could shoot and I'd be great at it. And other days it's like, nah, bro, I'm just slash like D Wade. But that's my guy, man. Like my game, the reason I would like D Wade more on the court, because my game patterned him a lot more. Like, I want him to be Kobe with the footwork and try to get to a spot, pump fake, shot, jab step, pump fake, jab step, pump fake, make a move, spin, fade away. Like, that wasn't my game, man. I was slashing, I was getting to the rim, I was getting crazy layups, I was trying to get fouled, all the stuff that D Wade used to do. So game for game, my game patterned D Wade a lot more, especially since I went working on my game. I wasn't that skilled like that back in the day. So, like, D Wade was somebody I grew up watching, and I felt a deeper connection to, because my game pattern is a way lot more than Kobe did. Like, not to say that Kobe's didn't affect my game at all, but still, like, D Wade matched me a lot more effortlessly than Kobe did. So I would have to work to be like Kobe. The D Wade game naturally fit me. So that's why I fell in love with him a lot more. So just as kind of clarification for people who probably were surprised to hear that Kobe's my all-time favorite. But like, D Wade game, I don't know what it was, but he just matched me a lot more. I think it's that timing too, because where it's like Kobe started going down, D Wade came on the scene, and he came up, and Kobe he didn't go down, but it's just like, him and Shaq broke up the year after that. That was 2004.
He was kind of quiet for a little while.
Yeah, and D Wade came on the scene. He got drafted, and he was part of that legendary 2003 class. So he had it like, I'll say about 3 years where he just kind of like wasn't the same. 2004 he was mediocre. 2005 he was mediocre for Kobe. Kobe, he was kind of mediocre. He's still scoring, but newsworthy wise, he wasn't doing too much. Then 2006 he kind of did something again. He kind of woke back up a little bit. 2007, I think that was his MVP year. And then '06 was the year D Wade won the championship. That was his third year. So at that point, I'm rocking. That's my guy. Like when I'm with you, I'm with you. So D Wade won in '06. I'm like, dang, it's 30 in the league. He got Shaq. Oh, we winning, bro. I'm good. So D Wade was my guy. I'm rocking with him. Like I still got a D Wade jersey I had from way back in the day. So I still got some old Kobe jersey somebody gave me one day. But D Wade's my guy, man. So just kind of clearing up for some people who probably didn't understand my fandom. So I came in the game a Kobe fan. He birthed me into the game, but what really morphed my game and how I played was more of D Wade. So that's what he kind of became my favorite player from '03 till basically retirement for real. Like I was rocking with D Wade that long, man. So that's my guy. Like D Wade was somebody I really grew up and like idolized, and how he played was like it just matched me easier, man. I didn't have to give too much thought to play like D Wade. Like I see something he did, and I took the Euro step. Like he was one of the people that made it. Like him, Ginobili, and Harden were the biggest three of like the Euro step when it first came over for us. And I was like, oh shit, how you do that jump? Boom, boom. I got it. Now I'm taking it. So then Euro step, I took it. Like I said, the windmill, taking the ball over his head, tucking it through, sweep through. Everything he did, man, a little snatch back between the legs. I took his moves and made it my game. And it's just easy for me to do. So the knee problems he had, I still got knee problems to this day. I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of that jump. His game just matched me, man. Like it's like little stuff like that, bro. Like why I felt the deep connection to D Wade, man. Like he came in the game, padded up. And I was like, oh, he got wet. Shit, I hit the floor too. Let me get my football pads going on too, man. I didn't get as much as him, but I wanted to. So his game just matched me, bro. Like you know how it is, man. Like AI came in wearing a sleeve. Everybody want to wear a sleeve now because it's AI. Come in with the headband. Now everybody want to wear the headband. Like little stuff like that we all paid attention to growing up. So it's like I fell in love with D Wade and his game, man, and I just made that my own. So that's just kind of where I came into it. So I was a Kobe guy in the beginning, and throughout his whole career, I was a D Wade guy, and rocking him to the end. And I kind of fell back in love with Kobe again when he started, going on that tear when he was like possessed by a basketball god for a couple of years when he won that scoring tear. Like somebody just pissed him off or something, and he just went stupid. I fell back in love with Kobe again with that, but still rocking with D Wade. D was my number one. Like it's kind of weird because I was going back and forth with that. But then it was kind of weird too because the Heat and Celtics were rivals, and the Celtics was my favorite team. So I kind of always kind of like, whoever win at this point, I'm happy with. Either my favorite player win or my favorite team win. So I'm just like sit here and enjoy good basketball. So that's kind of where I came into. And then when he retired, it took me a minute to kind of figure out who my favorite player was going to be. I like Kyrie a lot. I like Chris Paul, but he was kind of up in age. I can't make somebody like in their 30s my favorite player. That's weird to be. So I kind of just like looking for a minute for the next, couple guys to kind of see who I liked. And Donovan Mitchell was a question for me for a minute because his game is pretty similar to D Wade's, but it's something about him I just couldn't connect with it at the same time because I wasn't. If I was younger, I probably would connect to Donovan more. But where I'm at in my playing life and career now is like I can't relate to that no more. So Dame and Westbrook kind of connect to me the most now, and so that's kind of where I'm at. So came in Kobe, and doing like the most important years of my development, D Wade came in, so that's kind of more to how I played most of that time, and now it's more Dame and Westbrook. So that's my fandom, man, for the most part. Of course, you got throwing a little Chris Paul in there because like I said before, he came in, he was the first person I ever seen like almost destroy an organization by himself in a playoff series. So a little bit of Chris Paul in there too, man. But those are the main people that really shaped my fandom and like how I see the game and how I play the game. Yeah, throwing a little bit of Steve Nash, a little bit of Jason Kidd.
The crafty point guards.
Yeah, the real smart, crafty point guards. Like both of those were pass first point guards, very smart players, and I respected it a lot, man. Like I was more athletic than those guys, so my game was a little bit different, which is why D Wade came in and Kobe came in, but like Westbrook and Dame. So, but as far as how they played the game, as far as trying to be pass first, and like I love good passes, I love smart passes and all that stuff. So that's why my connection came to them. But for the most part, it was Kobe, D Wade, and now Damon Westbrook. That's my connection to the game. So that's it for me, man. That's all I got. So anybody else for you?
No, that's it, man. For me, on current play or like coming up wise, I guess. I was like you. I had a long gap after KG was done playing, or when he was on the decline. I had a big gap on who's going to be my next favorite player. Like I did not know. Like I did not have a favorite player from like 2000, like 12 to like 2017 or like 2016. Because Giannis didn't really break out on the scene. I want to say Giannis got drafted 2013, but he didn't really become a factor until like 2016.
Yeah.
So it's one of them things. I was like, man, like I like the Celtics still, but the Celtics ain't really hitting no much. They weren't hitting no much for a while, especially after they changed all their vets over and Ray went to Miami and Paul and KG went to Brooklyn. It was just like, I ain't trying to watch this.
Yeah.
Right, I ain't trying to watch the 40 and up league. Oh man. But that was tough to watch, boy. But so just wrapping up, man, before we go, who are some of your favorite players from the past? Like before we was born, we might have never got to see him play. Type. I'm talking about that deep in the past. So let's talk a little bit about that. Who would you consider like one of your favorite historic players?
Man, this is probably very weird, especially talking about how I just grew up watching certain players and what I love from a game. But for whatever reason, man, I'm a huge Hakeem Olajuwon fan. Like that's somebody from the '90s I just really love and appreciate. I don't know why, but I just really love his game, and I feel like he is somebody that, for some whatever reason, man, when it comes to '90s basketball, I think about him. Of course, I think about Jordan and stuff, but like he's my guy, man. Like if I could pick somebody to start my team with, he'll probably be my starting center. Like I love Shaq. Because I grew up, like I said, I grew up in that COVID era when he was winning with Shaq. But I feel like Hakeem is the only player in history I feel like could compete with Shaq as far as, well, who's gonna stop Shaq? Hakeem's probably the only player in history I think could actually put up any type of fight. Like I'm talking about from the birth of basketball to now. I feel like he's the only player that I feel like Steven Adams will give him a good fight, but I feel like Shaq still wins. I feel like Hakeem is the only person on both ends of the floor who was just like, give him that work. He just like, yo, how you want the inside? You want the inside game? You want the outside game? I'm gonna cook you either way. Just pick which one you want to get cooked. Defense, okay, I'm gonna lock you up inside and outside. Young Shaq, old Shaq, Celtic Shaq. I don't care, bro. I don't care what you throw at me, man. You can be 300-pound Shaq or 250 Shaq. You can be Orlando, prime LA Shaq. I don't care, bro. Like I feel like that's the only person in history that could really give Shaq a problem. And his game overall, he was so smooth, man. Like his footwork was ahead of his time, man. For him to be doing the stuff he was doing at 7 foot, like it's ridiculous, bro. So Hakeem is somebody from the '90s I will always love and appreciate. I don't think I ever sit down and watch a full game of his, but from the highlights and everything I watched from him, is just like the way players to talk about Hakeem and the level of respect they have for him is just like only a few people had a level of respect. And it's like to see the numbers and stats he put up to where it's like he's the only person, like he think he's the last person that put up a quadruple double. And I was like, really? Dang, like you gotta be cold to put up quadruple. Like we see triple double Westbrook and throwing triple doubles left and right. James Harden, LeBron, Greek Freak. Like we see guys doing that now. But quadruple double, I think he's the last person to do that. And that's been over 20 years.
That's crazy.
Close to 30 years now. So it's just like, wow, like that type of guy could do that. And he was like if you took Jordan out the '90s, people say the King is probably the next best player. You feel me? So it's somebody.
He won all the other 2 championships.
Yeah, like he was the only person besides Jordan to really win in the '90s. Like the years Jordan wasn't there, the Rockets won. So it just means something, So that's just somebody I always grew and respected, man. But I feel like Penny is somebody I would have grown to like really love, especially Orlando Penny. I feel like Grant Hill was somebody I would have loved to watch, especially when he was young. That's somebody he would have been the next Jordan coming up. And he was mainly like 2000s, but he's still a little bit of 90s. But somebody that I would have loved to see. Tim Hardaway. I feel like I would have loved his game. He was real. he one of the few people that have a move named after him. So that says a lot, bro. So the Tim Hardaway crossover, man. So I feel like he was that generation's AI for what he was for us. Like he gave a move to that generation. So hard to think of right now, man. That's probably my big 3 or 4 that back in the day I wish I could have really seen more of and seen them hoop. So what about you? I know you're a big Magic fan. So what about you?
You know me, man. I love Magic, but Magic is my guy. I can watch Magic highlights all day. I think it just got to be. It's something about him being as tall as he is, making the moves that he was making, or the passes he was making. Like it's just crazy to me, man. Like I love watching Magic, but I wish I could have seen the Showtime Lakers so bad. I wish I could have just been around at that time. I might have been a huge Lakers fan if I could have been, because man, Magic is just the passes is amazing. He like a 6'9" point guard. Like I don't think people realize like a 6'9" guy running the flow play point guard. That's like almost regular now. With guys like LeBron play point guard when he feel like it. Like Ben Simmons, doggone Luka like 6'7". You know, like point guard. It's nothing for point guards to be kind of tall now. Like that's like a regular thing. But I don't think people realize it. Magic was playing point guard at 6'9" back in the days where 6'9" meant you was playing power forward.
Yeah.
Like you wasn't playing nothing above power forward. You wouldn't go play small forward at 6'9". So just think about how good his basketball IQ and his passing vision must be for him to be playing point guard at that time at 6'9".
Yeah.
Like, and I just, man, I implore you, like, to anybody listening to this, go watch you some Magic Johnson highlights. Go just YouTube Magic Johnson flashiest passes, whatever you want to put in. Then perfect on the money. Dudes catch just laying it up in stride. This man catching rebounds, turning around, throwing it with one arm. Folks catching it perfect, laying it up, running, faking the ball one way, throwing it the other way with one hand. I was like, man, it's just, I don't think people realize, man, it's just crazy. So Magic definitely like my favorite historic player. Let me put it that way. He my favorite historic player. So then after Magic, I was a big Penny Hardaway fan too. I was a big Shaq and Penny Hardaway fan. Like, but first of his kind that like we got a point guard that'll dunk on you type stuff. So I love Penny. Like I loved him watching him play with Shaq, or watching the highlights of him playing with Shaq in Orlando. And who else? I love Hakeem too, but mostly for his defense, like for obvious reasons. You know, I love his shot blocking and stuff like that. I've always admired that. I've also watched a lot of Hakeem like footwork videos. I wish I could have his footwork. If I had Hakeem footwork, man, like I don't need like the other skills that he had, but if I had his footwork, cause like I'm clumsy, like I got way better footwork than I used to. But if I had his footwork, oh my goodness, I would be a killer. But that's just another person I admire his skill set. Yeah. And last but not least, I gotta throw in Mike. One thing that I ain't never been. I think other people make me dislike Michael Jordan, like just the way they talk about him, and like you can't say nothing about nobody without being compared to Mike. So I think like outside people kind of make me dislike Jordan a little bit. But one thing about Mike, you can't take away from Mike. Mike knew how to put the ball in the hoop. And like that's just point blank period. I love Mike. If I could just get like a straight highlight tape of Michael Jordan layup packages, like to this day, I'll defend this to this day. I think he got the best layup package in NBA history. Like it's up there with Mike, Kyrie, Allen Iverson, guys like that. They in the running. But if you ask me, Mike got the best layup package of all time, bro. Like Mike, just the things he doing, Mike floating. I don't think people realize how athletic Mike had to be. Mike float in the air. Like we have not seen nothing like Mike. And folks, like I get what people saying, like, you know, Mike had a 40-inch vertical that's like regular now and stuff. And that's true. That's true. But you ain't seen nobody in the league jump up with one hand, put the clip in, Brian, if you don't mind. Jump up with one arm, finna dunk, bring it back down, reverse it, throw it up and under mid-air.
Yeah.
Perfect layup, go straight through the net. I was like, bro, you don't see that, man. You just don't see dudes do that.
And then he did that in the finals. That wasn't just some regular game. That was like the game one of the finals, bro. Like that wasn't just like
Exactly.
some regular season like blowout win. He in the middle of the finals, he was like, you know what? I could dunk this right here. In the middle of the air, he was like, let me make it a little bit harder. Let me switch hands in the air
Off and
and go
under.
and finish with the left. I'm like, okay, all right, Mike.
He toying with folks in the air.
Yeah.
And like Mike layup package so crazy, the bad boy Pistons started just knocking them down. they said like verbatim, these boys said we had to hit him before he got in the air, because once he got in the air, it was over.
Mhm.
That's how great Mike like layup and dunks was. Like his package was unmatched. Dudes was out here looking at Mike like, if this man get in the air, there's nothing we could do.
Yeah.
And we got 6'11", 7-foot centers out here trying to defend the rim. Then they out here like, hey, it might get in the air. It's gonna be problems. So they knocking him out before he even jumped. Like, nope.
Yep.
Can't let you do it, Mike. And so I just, man, I love that about Mike too. Like, if you could give me magic passing with Mike athleticism, or Mike layup package, and Penny Hardaway athleticism, and like, not IQ, because I take Magic IQ, but like out of them historic players, let me say this: give me Magic passing with Jordan athleticism and layups, and Penny's speed and quickness. Boy, you got a tough player, boy. That's me. I take that every day of the month, but so
okay.
But yeah, Mike his layup package is amazing to me, bro. I love watching it. I love those are the type of highlights that I watch in my spare time. Magic passing, Shaq and Penny, Hakeem footwork, Mike layups and dunks. Like, them amazing to me. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't seen nothing like that since. We got LeBron that kind of mimics Magic a little bit now, but even LeBron passes ain't as flashy as Magic passes used to be.
Oh no.
Like, the IQ was obviously there, but Magic was doing some stuff like, it's like he was just having fun, which he was, and I admire that. So,
like, the one thing I will say about Magic is like, the reasons why I consider Magic and Jordan so great is because, one, they were incredibly ahead of their time with so many things, and then like they even so far ahead of their time that what they're doing now is normal, but we still don't see now what they used to do back then. Like you said, Magic's passes were stupid, and nobody passes the ball anything close to how Magic passes. Like, the closest thing we've seen to his I don't want to say carelessness, but like his freedom of just like trying passes out, is LaMelo right now. Like, nobody comes close to his just like, let me try this pass, see how it goes. Nobody. Joker's getting up there, but he's not as flamboyant with it. LaMelo's getting up there, but he's not as consistent as Magic. Magic was like, I didn't ever watch Magic games, but like night in, night out, I feel like you're gonna get at least 2 highlight passes from Magic that was just like, what was that? Like, where did that come from? How did you see that? Like, I feel like he gave you 2 of those a game. I just feel like he just, let me throw this little, it's gonna look ugly, but I'm gonna catch this rebound and just throw this overhead like hook pass in the lane. It's like a wide receiver running down the field and just drops in their hands. Like, that was Magic passes pretty much 90% of the time. Like, he was accurate with even the craziest passes. Like, that full court bounce pass he had, just came down, whipped it with one hand. I'm just like, bro, how? Like I said before, I'm a big fan of passes, and some of his stuff, I'm just like, how? Like, I could see myself trying it in the game, and I knew I would have messed that up. I'm like, nah, I should throw that a little bit hard. I should have aimed it. Like, I threw it too close. Someone should have backed it up. So I can see the stuff that like I can analyze and break down. He did jump on the whim. It was just like, let me just throw this, boom, and hit him right there perfect. So it's just like, the stuff he was doing was crazy. And the same thing with Jordan too. It's like you said, his athleticism is average, nowadays, because you got Spencer Dinwiddie is 6'6" with a 40-inch vert. DeMar DeRozan is like 6'6" with he might have 40, but he's close. He probably has like 38 right now because he's a little bit older. But We see 6'6" and 38 vertical, 38-inch verticals and up now. It's like it's nothing, you know. Only person who I compare with him to with athleticism would probably be Vince Carter. He still wasn't even. There's two different types of athleticism, honestly. But
Right.
it's just Vince was different. Like that's my dog. But it's just like nobody's doing what Jordan was doing, man. Zach LaVine is like 6'6" with his stupid vert, but he's not floating like Magic was. I mean, not like Jordan was. So they're goats, man. Like those are two people I will always have some level of respect for, man. Like for them to be 20, 30 years ahead of their time, and Magic almost 40 years now ahead of his time, and we still don't see anything like him for real. Like it's ridiculous, you know, and that says a lot to me about how great they were and how smart the coaches and everybody were around them to allow them to do what they wanted to do. Because it's hard for you to flourish and be as great as you want to be. Like you said before, Magic should have been a power forward, maybe a small forward, depending on the team. For him to be allowed to be a point guard, especially doing what he had with the freedom he had, his coaches in high school and Michigan State and with the Lakers had to be like, I'm gonna let you do what you want to do, bro, because you should be in the post right now. I'm gonna let you cook as a point guard. Jordan, you shouldn't be flying like that. Your Lego package is really crazy, but I'm gonna let you cook and do what you want to do, man. So it's just commendable to see what they did, especially, you know, right now, 30 years ahead of their time still. So yeah, man. But Larry Bird too. I want to throw that in. Larry Bird is a guy I love and respect too. For whatever reason, I just love his game, man. Like he's his level of arrogance too. Like, bro, that man said, "I'm gonna go out here this game. I'm gonna score on my left hand." You first off, you know how arrogant and like how confident, almost cocky you have to be to say, "I'm gonna sit there and score on my left hand."
In the league.
In the league, like I'm telling you too. Like, yo, I'm gonna go out here and score my left hand. You're like, what? Man, I think he went out there and scored 40 that game. I think he scored 40 that game with his left hand, bro. Like that's stupid. Like jumpers and two, like he was layups, jumpers, couple mid, everything was mid range and in. So it's just like that was stupid, bro. And he was like, "Hey man, I'm finna shoot this shot right here." Like his level of trash talking, bro, it's ridiculous. I'm not a trash talker, but I do love some good. If you're gonna talk trash, make sure it's good. That's all I care about.
Back it up.
If make sure what you're saying is good stuff to say, and you can back it up. If you're talking trash and it's not even good trash talk, yeah, man. At least entertainment, bro. Like I'm not a trash talker, but at least entertain with the trash talk. So it's like Magic, but Bird was like, I'm finna pull this through in your face. I'm just letting you know that now. I'm like, what? He was chill with it too. He just come down and bust in your eye. Like, yeah, I tried to tell you, man. Like, you should have got a hand up sooner. Like, he was so smooth with it, man. So Bird was somebody I really loved, man. Like, his game was like, he was ahead of his time too. And for him to be so unathletic, but he was so smart. Like his IQ is, I think that's unmatched too. Like I don't think I've seen anybody with his level of IQ to see the stuff that he saw and like offense and defense. He was such a smart player, man. He played so hard to it. It's like you can't touch him, man. So for him to be 6'8", 6'9", like he was, to do some of the stuff he was doing, for the jumper he had, to the lack of athleticism, but still producing how he did, putting triple doubles at the time and rebounding and effort and gave and steals. Like he was such a smart player, man. He would get blocks and steals and stuff, but he wasn't athletic. He wasn't moving around like that. He even had the back problems late in his career. For him to do what he was doing, man, that's somebody I wish I could have grown up watching. So that's somebody that's I really respect back in the day. So that's the GOAT for me too, man. I feel like he was ahead of his time, and you still don't see anybody like Bird. Like, you don't see nobody calling out trash talking like that. Like, can't do that nowadays. Try that joint now. I think it's only, I'll say it's probably 5 players in the league that can probably trash talk on that level where I'm gonna come down the court and do this, and they do it. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Like probably James Harden, maybe Kyrie, KD,
Steph Curry, maybe.
Steph, maybe. I feel like he could. He feel like he could. And maybe LeBron. And that's probably it. It's a real short list, man. Like, and some people that can say, I'm gonna come down the court, bop, 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 3 in your eye. Like, man, whatever. Next play down, bop, 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 3 in your eye. Hey, try to tell you, man, you just didn't get a handle soon enough. Like, so I respect that, man. So,
Well, all right, man. Anything you got anything else, man, before we get on out of here?
Now that's it, man. I got fired from my own podcast from doing closure. So you got it, bro.
You didn't get fired, man. You just got moved. You got transferred to the intros, man. You know, the intros is your responsibility. We needed your talents elsewhere. Is all.
That's a nice way of putting you got fired, bro. I respect that.
Patience major. What can I say? But all right, man. That's it for me too. So that's all for another installment of the BeBall Jones podcast. I hope y'all enjoyed just getting a little insight on me and my boy Brian, you know, where we get our points of view from and our play styles, and just, you know, why we think the way we do when it comes to basketball. You know, like I said, the way who your first few favorite players are in the game when you first start, you know, being ingratiated into it. It'll have a lot to do with your development. So this episode kind of gave y'all some insight onto our development and how we became who we are and what we know in the game. So we appreciate y'all for listening and for sticking it around. And y'all make sure y'all tune in next week. Brian will have his own personal installment next week. So make sure y'all follow us on social media. Follow my guy Brian at BeBall Jones on Instagram and Twitter. And follow me on Twitter at NellyH34 and Nelson Haskin on Facebook. And y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe and leave a comment on this video on the podcast. Let us know who your favorite players are or who you love to watch growing up. Stuff like that. We interested in what got you into basketball also. So, you know, just let us know those type of things when y'all watch this. Like if you were a Kobe guy coming up, or if you were a little bit older, you know, you might have been growing up watching Mike, or if you love D-Wade like Brian, or if you was a KG and a Celtics fan like me, or if you just a LeBron guy. I know we got plenty of LeBron fans around. So yeah, so y'all just let us know in the comments. But until next time, this has been another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast with Nelson Haskin. And we'll catch y'all next time. We out.